We did a video on this 6 months ago, a year ago. I forget when exactly we did it. But dude, you remember this like viral clip because it was Horizon Zero Dawn. Okay, Horizon Zero Dawn. We all recognize it, Aloy and everything. And then there was news of an upcoming Tencent game called Lights of Moritari, I forget. And dude, it was just straight up Horizon, like 1-to-1, like hilariously so. Like it was a carbon copy. And they had these, more trailers that looked identical. They had, come on, dude. Come on. You know what you're doing. Come on. There's no oops. There's no oopsie. We made a mistake. Come on, dude. This is like hilariously on the nose. Okay. Everybody knows what you're doing. The trailer, even down to the grass, like the red grass, identical across the board. But this is what the trailer looked like. Very Horizon-esque, right? Even some of these snippets in engine and in game, it looked very Horizon-like. The actual game is like a survival game. Like it's closer to Palworld than it is to Horizon. Okay, like it actually is not very much like Horizon in terms of actual gameplay. We saw an extended gameplay cut and it did not look anywhere near this good even. It looked really, really rough and really bad. But why am I bringing this up? Well, it's being reported by Reuters now that Sony is suing Tencent for this offense. Okay? Dude, these ads are so bad. A spokesperson for Tencent and the attorneys for Sony did not immediately respond to comment. They released Horizon, blah, 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 blah. But basically they are suing them specifically in California federal court, accusing the Chinese tech conglomerate of ripping off its popular Horizon series adventure games. Sony said in a lawsuit filed Friday that Tencent's upcoming Light of Motiram is a slavish clone of its games that copies several distinct Horizon elements and threatens to confuse buyers, which leads to potential lost revenue. Jesus, these ads are ridiculous. And honestly, yeah, fair. I think there's a case. Sony better watch out or Tencent will buy them. Dude, I think there's a real case here. The thing is, it passes the gut check for sure, which is the initial thing. But these cases always take time to be established and to come to fruition, because usually what the lawyers are doing is they're trying to establish, first of all, engagement on Light of Motiram, I don't know. They're trying to establish interest so that then they can take that and extrapolate potential lost sales, because their case is basically going to be people will spend money on this game thinking it's Horizon because it looks so freaking similar. Like hilariously similar. And so by making it look so similar, they're going to confuse buyers and lead to people spending money on this when they meant to spend money on Horizon. Now, for you and I, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that this is not Horizon, that this is like a visual ripoff. Even if it's a unique game, it's visually clear what they're doing. But to a more casual gamer, I could see them getting confused by this and thinking that this is a Sony game because it looks so much like that thing they've seen trailers for and commercials for. And so they're going to run with that. Realistically, what happens? Maybe they do major like art direction overhauls. Maybe they do something like that. I don't know. Maybe they just settle and give Sony a big chunk of change and then still put this out as it is. I kind of doubt that. I think they would require some sort of visual distinction, because you got to remember, Sony is in business with Tencent in various ways. One example is with the parent company of From Software, Kadakawa, I'm not sure. They are invested pretty heavily in Kadakawa, specifically with regard to From Software, where they bought a chunk of them, and Tencent has also bought a big chunk of them as well. As you can see here, they announced a strategic capital and business alliance with them, under which it acquired 12 million shares for roughly $300 million on January 7th, giving Sony a 10% stake and making them the largest single shareholder. Tencent's also been invested in them as well. So they work together and they have connections together in certain business ventures. But I mean, this was so egregious that I'm not surprised they finally took matters into their own hands and are trying to take action. Because I think, I think there's pretty clearly a case. They could let them launch it and then file the lawsuit and claim damages. You know, we are owed a chunk of every copy you sold or something like that. But I don't know is exactly what their tact is here. But I mean, it's pretty clear what's happening here, and that there almost certainly is a case. I mean, come on, dude. But this is the game. Like, it's a survival game. It doesn't play anything like Horizon, which is probably their primary defense, is that, it looks damn near identical, but it doesn't play identically at all, except for maybe, you know, some of these larger boss fights and stuff. But beyond that, like, the core gameplay loop is going to be totally, totally different. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but they're actually filing a lawsuit and trying to get the ball rolling on it. And we'll see what happens with it. Because as far as I know, we don't have even an estimated timeline of when this would see the light of day. But, I mean, again, they knew what they were doing. There is no way this happens. And they're like, oh, no, it looks similar to Horizon. Aw, man. Like, there's no shot. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing from the outset. Even the font is the same, okay? Like, they knew what they were doing. It's just they were kind of testing Sony to see if they could get away with it, and it looks like they can't. Maybe this is some big, like, 4D chess big brain thing, and they're doing this because they actually want, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to bait Sony into a lawsuit. I don't know. But it's crazy. It's crazy. This is like when you tell a joke to a friend and they rip you off and tell it to a larger group as their own. I mean, what's crazy is that they almost certainly would make millions upon millions upon millions of dollars on that Lights of Motiram game, because it's Tencent and they're massive and huge in China and Eastern markets. So they almost certainly would find amazing success with it. And it's so on the nose. It makes me wonder if this is some sort of 4D chess thing where they're like, hey, we want to bait Sony into a lawsuit so we can get discovery against them and we can use that information in another venture we're doing. Because it's so on the nose. Like, there's no way they did that and honestly thought they wouldn't be sued, you know? So I'm like, there's got to be some other angle to it. It just doesn't make sense how that could happen. And then they honestly have no idea that it's going to go over that way. But apparently, look at how big Palworld is. People love their slop. And they love tedium, or they love games that they can kind of turn their brain off and go through the tedium in a way that's kind of, satisfying. Palworld's satisfying because you can build a big base and then you can increase your collection of pals or whatever, and you can have fun with it. I kind of fell off after, I don't remember, 15, 20 hours or something. But Nikki, she put in a lot of hours. She played a lot of Palworld. Yeah, a lot. Can you sue for something that's not for sale yet? I can draw as much Horizon inspired art as I like as long as I don't sell it. The point is, with this, they're going to sell it. They've made it pretty clear they're going to. It's kind of the whole point of them announcing it. So I'm sure PlayStation's ultimate goal would be to just get them to cancel it and not sell it. So you can do your inspired art as long as you're not selling it. Yeah. But if you announced intention to sell it, then they might come at you and be like, hey, no, you can't do that. You keep drawing, keep doing whatever art you want to do, but you can't sell it. In which case you'd probably go, okay, I won't sell it. But that's what this lawsuit's going to try to push them into doing, is just being like, nope.